Guest of honor.
No, so today we don't have a guest of honor. We have a handful of people kind of trickling in here. We'll kind of let them go through. I know as we kind of go through, I know you mentioned or you invited me to something. So we'll talk about that for a second. And I'm not sure, have you already done that or is that starting after this?
I did. I had my first day,
Yeah.
11 o'clock, and then I have 2 more. So I have tomorrow at 2,
Okay.
Friday at
Yeah.
2. So yes, whenever you emailed me and said like kind of topic today, I'm like, this is so in alignment.
Mhm.
We're talking about interest rates have dropped. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So in Canada, the Bank of Canada has dropped the interest rate by 0.25 a quarter, basically, which
Huge.
may help with
Yeah.
some of the people that are stalling, right? Might give them that little bit of edge. So I suggested, either creative alternative ways to, bring this to the attention to our database.
Because why? What are you getting?
I have received so many emails with respect to this. And guess what? Basically what it's allowing me to do is clean up my inbox. So I'm just going unsubscribe, 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 unsubscribe. Now, I'm not saying I'm the typical end user that is receiving your communications because I have a lot of you that I get. I'm in your dashboards for various reasons. But it's giving me that reason to unsubscribe, and people will start because they're getting, again, kind of going back to your leads are in multiple dashboards, right? So, and if everyone's doing the same thing and they start getting the same emails, you might be very well the one that they unsubscribe from.
Yep.
Right? So thinking of different ways of how we can approach and advertise this news to our clients or our leads. And as well, if we're talking to them, how can we bring this to their attention and kind of be a little bit outside the box or different than those that are just, putting together an email and blasting it off. Because it was literally, and you could tell people already had the emails pre-drafted because as soon as the news came out, it was like, boom, I had it in my inbox. Right. So it was, people were anticipating, right? So, and everyone, when, it's interest rates right now, and I'm not sure where you are such a big obstacle for so many, and talking point, that anything to do whenever the time comes that, Bank of Canada is going to come out with their announcement, everyone's just sitting and waiting to see what they're going to do. Right. Whereas I don't feel people paid that much attention before as much as they do right now.
So I'm going to veer off of, we have amazing content that people need to hear and people need knowledge on, right?
Yes.
How many text messages did you get?
None.
How many videos did you get?
None.
How much video content are you seeing on Instagram, on Facebook from realtors?
Not very much. I don't think I've seen anything. It's just a basic post with text.
And I'm going to ask why, but I think we all know why. It's email.
It's easy. You draft it together, you pre-select, it takes you a few seconds to do that, and boom, it's out, right?
But not only is it easy, it's safe.
Yes.
You're hiding behind the email because it is easy. It's safe. I don't have to put myself out there. I don't have to have anybody judge me. I don't have to have, right? It's safe. And that is what my webinar was about today, was the mind and how we want to shout things to the rooftops. And we have, we can wake up in the morning and go, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this video and I'm going to put it on Facebook and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then you open up your phone, you hit the live button, and then you got to enter the description. And then you're like, oh, the lighting's not good. So you walk around and try and find the right light. And then you're like, oh, I don't like that description. I'm going to change that description. Oh, wait, I got to put on the little light and camera. And then you hit the live button and then you pause it because someone starts cutting their grass or because someone there's a loud noise.
Yeah.
And you're like, this isn't even worth it. And you don't do it. Or you go to the point of you record something and then you go back to edit it and then you start the editing process and then you got to put the words to it and then you got to, right?
Yeah.
There's so many factors that come into play, but to your point, email's easy.
Yep.
Subject
And there's
line.
the fear of judgment too, right? So many of us have that fear of judgment of what are people going to think of me when I post this, or what are people going to be saying, or are they going to be gossiping about whatever, right? And so there is a lot of fear of judgment out there, and we all carry a bit of that, right? And it might not be related to this, but there's all different factors in our life where there is that. It can always be that smidget of fear of judgment.
So here's what's exciting. This is so, like, I'm so geeked out about this, and I've known this for a very long time. And if anybody has been following me for some time, they've probably seen my book, The 5 Truths of Why You Feel Stuck, the secret that most coaches want you to know. And the whole premise behind that, throughout all of my years of coaching and training, I always felt like there was something just missing. Because we have all the freaking tools, Crystal. We
Yeah.
know what to do. We have the leads. We're paying for the CRM. We're paying for the leads. We have a phone. We have all the tools. But yet we're still seeking the right coach. We're still seeking the right shiny object. We're still looking for that answer because we are so programmed to seek pleasure and to feel good that when we go to post a video or we go live and it doesn't feel good, we're seeking that pleasure because we don't like how we're feeling. So let's just send out an email because I did something. But the true reality, and here's the really fun news, is our brain, we have like 3 different compartments of our brain. And our brain, its job is to protect us from dying, to protect us from getting hurt, to protect us from feeling anything else other than pleasure. So our brain's connected to the nervous system, which gives us that feeling that we don't like. But when we go to take action on doing something that we're not comfortable with, we retract from it and we don't move forward. So when I look at those 5 truths of why we feel stuck and it's secret that coaches don't want you to know, it's not that they don't want you to know it. It's just that it's never been brought out in this form of fashion to understand the brain and how we have this like lizard brain. Because if you go back to the caveman days, they didn't have to worry about putting their face on TV, right? They didn't have to worry about judgment because ain't nobody seeing them but the people they live in the cave with. They just had to worry about, oh my God, like I've got to hide my food because a tiger might break in or a bear.
There's no mirrors either. There's no mirrors. They can't even see themselves.
Their only worry, right, is, oh my God, is this tiger going to chase me and eat me?
Yeah.
So we have this reptilian brain because generationally it's just been handed down, but times are changing, but the brain is still there. So have you ever heard the saying stuck in a rut? Yeah. Well, that saying came from back in the 1800s when we had the covered wagons with the big old wheels, right? The big wheels. Like we watched the black and white Westerns, right?
Yep. Little House on the Prairie.
Yes. The wheels created ruts in the roads.
Yes.
So when the wagons are going down the road, back before cows really didn't have fencing, they just roamed, right? So you have like a herd of cows in the way of the rut. Well, you either sat there, cows don't move.
Yeah.
So they had to get out of the wagon, pick the wagon up, pull it out of the rut to go around. If we think about our minds in this way, are we willing to pick up the wagon, heave it out of the rut? Because that's all we have to do, because our prefrontal cortex is meant for pleasure. It's meant for action. It's meant for fun. So all we have to do is say, okay, I'm not going to die. I don't have any tiger chasing me. This is just my brain doing its job to protect me from an unfamiliar feeling. But you know what? I'm done playing with this arena. So you know what? I'm going to take action. I'm going to do this. And the cool thing is, once we really understand that it's just a story, that it's just our brain doing its job, just like every other organ in our bodies doing it, like our heart's beating to keep us breathing, our liver's functioning to keep the toxins removed, right? Like all of our organs are doing something to protect us. But the unfortunate thing is our brain is protecting us in a way that prevents us from doing what we need to be doing. Just
Mhm.
imagine if your heart got scared of beating.
Yeah.
If your heart was like, "Oh God, I'm afraid to beat," like, what if that blood goes to where it's not supposed to go? There's no difference than our brain
Mhm.
saying, "No, don't do that."
Mhm. Yep.
So when we really start to think about our businesses and why we don't take action on why everybody sends an email, well, hello, you don't really have a whole lot of competition. Because everyone is stuck in their fear. Everybody is stuck in their lack of taking action. And I'm not going to say
Mhm.
everyone because the entrepreneurs out there, this is what sets them apart. They've learned how to manage their freaking brains. They don't
Yes.
care about their landing page. They don't care about typos. They don't care about what they look like when they go out there and being judged. They just do it.
Mhm.
They manage the brain, not
Yes.
the things.
Mhm.
So if you want your audience to know about interest rates, get out of your comfort zone and do something different
Mhm.
because you're not going to die. And it doesn't matter if people judge you because they don't sleep in bed with you. They don't eat dinner with you. They're not in your world. They're not going out on walks with you. They don't know what's going on in your world. That judgment is on them from their own stories.
Mhm. And usually people like don't care as much as we think they do. That's the thing. We have this fear of judgment and fear of
Care.
what people are going to think of me. They don't care. Like when you think of like all the other people doing videos or doing this or doing that, do you sit there and be like, "Oh my gosh," and start gossiping? Like no, you're either scrolling by, you might watch it, but you're not typically judging somebody. You don't care as much as they might feel like they're being judged while they're making it.
Yes, that is an absolute fact.
Mhm.
So we are the only ones that are in our own way. And,
Mhm.
in my video today, I was talking about I got certified for yoga in 2020, and I had grand plans of creating videos and putting it on YouTube and starting a YouTube
Doing
channel.
the whole thing. Mhm.
I really didn't want to teach in a studio. I got like frizzies. I wanted to do the YouTube channel. So a day went by, a couple days went by. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it today. I get my phone
Mhm.
up, I get my tripod up, and the lighting wasn't right. And I'm like, "Okay, I got
Mhm.
the lighting going. Okay, now I've got to get the microphone set up and get the sound right and check, 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 check. Okay, sound sounds right." And then you record it, and then you listen to it, and it's like spotty. You're like, "Okay, that didn't sound very good. I gotta try it again." And then, okay,
Mhm.
I finally got my video, and then I'm gonna pop it on YouTube, and it takes forever to upload. And then, oh God, I got a description. What is my description? Because description means if people are going to see it or not. And then, oh, the subject line and oh, the hashtags. So
Mhm.
stuff. It's like one thing just begets another that begets another. And then you're just like, what the frick's the point? Like, this is so not even
Yeah.
worth it. So then a
Mhm.
week goes by, a month goes by, and here we are, 2024.
Yeah.
And you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
Well, this happened, right?
Yeah.
I wrote all this content back in 2021. But this, I can promise you, what wasn't there was the no matter what, the purpose,
Mhm.
the why, the reason. And I kind of explained it as when I started calling leads back in 2018, it was easy to drop the money and create the leads. It was tangible. I saw
Mhm.
what I was paying for. But
Yeah.
then I got to pick up the phone. My palms would literally sweat. The fear was so great,
Mhm.
but I knew what I was paying a month, and I knew what my checking account could afford.
Mhm.
And my fear of not succeeding and making it work for me was greater than my fear of picking up the phone and calling my leads. And what did I end up doing? I ended up making my biggest fear my biggest asset because that's what I trained on for the last 10, 11 years of my life.
Mhm.
When we tackle something and we meet it head on, The only way that we can really get there is if our no matter what is strong enough. And maybe somebody's no matter what is a positive thing. Maybe it's, I want to take my kids on a vacation, or whatever the no matter what is, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying what my no matter what is. And right
Mm-hmm.
now I had a horrible experience with a business. I'm all about taking risks, and this risk didn't work in my favor. So I have tremendous debt right now. And my fear of not getting out of debt is so much greater than exposing myself on social media
Mm-hmm.
and creating a webinar and creating a course that I had a dream of for 4 years ago. It's all been sitting there. Now it's time. And I've realized why it's time, because we are exactly where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be there. Even though it was created, I had to go through the process and I had to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And I still like, I'm going to go live. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh God, it took me like a half hour just to hit the live button this morning.
Yeah. And you know what? If you can't go live right away, do the pre-recorded videos, right? Because it's, for
It's just as
anyone
hard
going
though.
live,
It's
it
just
is
as
just as hard, but that if you stumble upon your words, you can start over again. Right. Whereas when you're live, you can't do that. And it's no different. Like, I do a lot of our video content and tutorials and all of our new releases, all of that. When I first started that, how many times, because it's not even my face, it's just my voice. How many times I'd have to go, stop, start over again, stop, start over again, stop, start over again, because I'd trip over my mouth and and now it's just a matter of, okay, what is it that I need to talk about? And then it's usually I can do it in one go. Right. So it's just the practice. And then if I had to do it live, I'd have no problem, because I've had the practice of repetition of doing it over and over again. And then when you go live, it's now, instead of the recording, you don't have to record it. It's all broadcast live as you're doing it.
And that's such a great point that you're talking about patterns, because we were talking about
Mm-hmm.
before stuck in the rut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our brain creates these neurological patterns, and you may have heard the phrase neurons that fire together, or fire together, wire together.
Okay.
So when we have these patterns in our brain, brushing our teeth, we
Mm-hmm.
don't think about brushing our teeth.
You
When
just
we're
do it.
driving, did you ever get somewhere and go, did I go through a red light? Because I don't remember if it was green or not.
Yeah.
Did I lock my door whenever I left the house? Did I lock my car door? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
such memory. It's like it's just built into our subconscious, right? So
Yeah.
we
Mm-hmm.
do have positive patterns that our brains have created, but we also have those negative patterns that we talk to ourselves, like, oh, whenever you
Mm-hmm.
go to do something, it's like, oh, I'm not good enough, or oh, I can't do that, or oh, I don't deserve that, or right? All those stories. Those are the same patterns of brushing our teeth. So to your point, Crystal, whenever we
Mm-hmm.
grab onto something and we repeat it and we repeat it and we get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, we're creating new wagon tracks
Mm-hmm.
in our brain, in our nervous system, that it starts to become second nature, just like brushing your teeth. I am sure as a child, your parents had to chase you down to brush your teeth. Hell, I remember fighting my mom and dad, like, I was in the pool all day. I don't need a bath. I was in water all day. I'm not
I
getting
know.
a bath today.
Yeah.
But I don't think about getting a shower. It's like, oh, okay, I gotta get a shower today.
Yeah.
I gotta
It's just
brush my teeth,
routine,
right?
right? Yeah. Yeah.
But the more that we can get over and work with this brain and do something, it really does become like brushing your teeth. You just have to create that
Mm-hmm.
new neurological pattern in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And if nobody here is making the money that they think they should be making, if you're not in the position of your business that you thought you were going to be in or that you expected to be in, it's literally two things. First thing, you're not overcoming the mindset. And the second thing, you don't have the right solution for the customer. That's it. Both things we have control over. We don't have control over anything else. We don't have control over how they respond. We don't have control of what comes up in our mind, but we have control over switching the mind. We have the control of changing our story. We have the control of creating a product, a service, a solution, which
Mm-hmm.
brings me back to my favorite saying, be the umbrella on a rainy day. when you know your client and you know your audience and you know, I'm going to say your sandbox, which would be your providence, right?
Province.
Province. That would be your province. That would be your school zone, your location, right? Your little sandbox of what's going on in your community. When you know what their problem is and you are the umbrella when it rains, I don't give a shit how many umbrellas they own. If they're caught in the rain, they're buying another umbrella because they don't want to get wet. That's the solution. When your solution is that powerful that people hear you no matter what, sky's the limit. So two things, if you can get over what's going on in your mind and be able to tell fear to take its back seat and be a solution to what the problem is, there's no reason why you can't be the top agent in your market. Zero reason. It's two things that you have control over. But how bad do you want it? What's your no matter what? What's your why? What's your purpose? Because that has got to be stronger, because I will tell you this, our minds are that powerful that it will attempt to deceive you, to tell you to go check your Facebook, to tell you to go get an ice cream cone.
Yeah.
Because it's going to seek pleasure out so much. But how bad do you want it? Are you willing to set yourself apart and stop sending out an email?
I think too, though, with this whole, like, you know, whether anyone sits down today or over the next couple of days and creating any kind of video content, you can create the content for the future as well, right? So everyone's still expecting and hoping and anticipating that the rates are going to continue to drop, right? So you can create, and maybe not even mention what the interest rates are, just talk about that it's dropped again and what this means for you, right? So it's not actually mentioning any percentiles or anything like that, so that you already have that content pre-created, so that when the time comes, it's almost like a mindless thought. You've already went through the whole stress points of creating it and getting over those hurdles and obstacles that are holding you back, because the content's already created. Now you just have to get that content in front of everyone. So it's kind of taking it more of breaking it into pieces. Okay, I've gone through the hard part. I know I have it. Now I'm just going to blast it to everyone through a text message. Here, check out this link or whatever, or put it on my Facebook or put it on whatever. It's just a matter of uploading it and send it. And don't think about it. I've done it before where I've created a video and I was going to watch it. And I was like, nope, just send it. I'm not going to sit there and watch it, because I know I'm going to do the same thing and sit there and judge myself and critique it to like a level that I would probably not post it. So then I just sent it. I just like posted it. I was like, done, not going to do that. And, you know, whatever comes of it, comes of it. Right.
Well, and what's fun about what you're saying, create an email, which can also be a video script, which can also be a short, right? Because I'm forever battling all of these different social media rules. Instagram's 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah,
I got a 2-minute and 40-second video. I gotta like pull out 30 seconds, right?
I've done that before, where you have to like do it again, or like you're trying to do something and you're like, okay, now I gotta.
So most of my
what am I not going to talk about? Like,
well, but you do it, like create it. CapCut will be your best friend. CapCut has teleprompter in it. So you can take your email, pop it into teleprompter, and start practicing the script, because I can promise you this. It may sound good when you're reading the email, but when you try to read it, it doesn't sound good. So you have to kind of re-edit for audio or for video.
Yeah.
But pop it in there, practice it, record it. It tells you exactly how long it is. And then you can edit it right in CapCut. And then you're like, oh, all right, now what piece am I going to take out? Because it's 2 minutes and 40 seconds and I need to be at like 90 seconds. Or like a minute and 20 seconds, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So what do you cut out of it? And then literally you might be able to get 2 videos, because you can splice. Here's the thing. Only 6% of people are going to see your shit. So you can splice up this 3 minute of content, so many different ways and just keep popping it.
Mhm.
And you don't have to keep recreating the wheel. So you're literally, your one email can be 3 different messages. And it's beautiful because it's all
Mhm.
different messages to some extent. Like usually like I'll have my end that I tack on to anything that I'm adding on because your end is usually your call to action.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was really overwhelming and I almost chucked cupcat cat cap cut out the window. Because I'm like, "Oh my god, to learn how to split these videos and add the words and add the con and but I
Mhm.
created that new pattern, right? I have a new wagon wheel lines now, and I'm ready to
Mhm.
keep it ho.
Yeah. And sometimes it's the obstacle of learning new programs because like anything, you all have to learn and are still learning your CRM systems as an
Yep,
example, right? When we get, even I get frustrated, and I'm like not a whiz by any means, but like I'm just don't have the patience half the time, right? To sit there and learn because you're doing one thing and it takes you forever to do it. And then the more you're doing it though, and as you probably find, the more you're doing it, you're getting faster and faster and faster and faster and faster at it, right? And
yes, and
any of the top.
instead of 2 weeks from now not having anything,
Mhm.
I've actually learned something.
Mhm.
But again, it's gonna come back to what's your no matter what,
Yeah.
right? What's more important to you? And are you in a position to leverage? Can you have
Mhm.
somebody do it for you? That you don't have to do it by yourself, but I've gotten so overwhelmed, like, I'm just sitting here going, "Oh my god, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this." Because when you start creating content and doing email drip campaigns, you have to have so many emails and then, okay, if this, then that, right? So, okay,
Mhm.
well, if this happens, then I gotta have these emails for this opt-in, and you're like, "Oh," you, like, look at the end, you're like, "Oh my god," but you've gotta pull yourself back to right now. You gotta pull yourself back to this email, this piece of content. Let's worry about the next piece of content when I'm done with this piece of content, and
Mhm.
really chunk down your overwhelm
Yeah.
because we do get caught like that paralysis by analysis.
Mhm. Mhm.
We're salespeople.
I
We
gotcha.
overthink
Oh,
everything.
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, what would you be your approach? Because again, a lot of us we're calling our leads, right? So we're still calling. These news comes out. We may be getting this in front of those leads and other audiences. What would you like, how would you approach your leads when you're calling them? Because again, some of these people could have been people we spoke to in the past, or we're just doing our check-ins. And then of course, some of these are actually new leads that we're talking to as well, reaching out and actually having a conversation for the first time. What is some ways or approaches that you would go without just saying like, oh, and by the way, did you hear it? Like to try to come, very eager with respect to like broadcasting this news to them. How would you go about approaching the leads, or how to include that in the conversation with respect to the interest rates and what and how it might affect their search and their buying powers?
What's our number one goal that we're looking for with our leads? We're paying for the leads. What is the number one goal that we're looking for?
We want them to transact with us.
Yes.
Ultimately, that's our
Yes.
goal.
And in order for them to transact with us, what has to happen?
We have to communicate with them and provide value and trust in that lead.
Yes. So I know we talk a lot about voicemails and not leaving voicemails. There's always areas that warrant something different at certain times. And when there is a dramatic shift that's happening in a market, and those are some of those times that warrant it. And I remember back in my very beginning of lead calling, one of my he was actually the owner of Commissions Inc. And he would always say, if you're going to leave a voicemail. It's going to leave an impact that's going to make them call you back. And as you were talking, Crystal, I'm sitting there going, oh my God, what a great opportunity to leave a very impactful voicemail for your leads. Because right now there is a shift in the market. So that voicemail, hey, I'm just checking in because we've had a tremendous shift in our market. So if you have been thinking about buying or selling, I really want to talk to you and tell you what's going on with the market because it could really make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Yep.
tell them what it is. Just let them like, I wonder what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And let them know that you have a solution for them if they've been thinking about it. Now, again, we don't have control over where their situation is again. Say that again. Crystal,
Mm-hmm.
you have to start typing. Somebody type.
It is recorded, Lily, so it will be posted later today on our. I'll send the link of where you're going to be able to find the recordings. And there might be transcription, so I know you get a copy of the recording through Zoom. I can't remember.
And I will do my best to reverberate that. I would just leave a voicemail and say, hey, this is Beverly. I just wanted to reach out to you because we've had a tremendous shift in our market that I'm really excited about. It can make a huge difference if you were thinking about buying or selling. I'm really looking forward to talking to you if you fit that category, something like that.
Yeah.
And just make it your words.
Something's changed. Something's
Yeah,
shifted.
so you don't want to give them
Don't want
the
to tell them exactly what it is. Yeah.
you want to tempt them with the
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about it. Well, maybe I wasn't thinking about it, but maybe now I am thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a what how do I want to call it? That temptation, right? Everybody has that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everybody has, that make me move price.
Yeah.
Everybody. I don't care who you are, everybody has the make me move price.
Mm-hmm.
So if your voicemail is tempting enough to make the move, and that's why I always loved the Facebook posts, right? DM me what you think your home is worth. Everybody loves a game.
Yeah.
Because then you're taking their fear away of like putting it out there on social media, but DM me
Good
what you
way.
think your home is worth.
Yeah.
And then you're getting like all of these like, and just like,
These
oh, well, where's
people.
your home at? Like, what's your address? Right. So
Yeah.
then you're getting a really good idea. Are they smoking crack, or are they, oh my God, like
Mm-hmm.
you're right there?
Yeah. I
Or
think
ask
that's
them if you
a
make
great way
moves.
to engage with your social audience is like you can take the picture, take a listing. I guess it would have to be your listing. And just kind of play a game, because you can't just advertise pictures of people's houses that are actually for sale.
Which is this home
But
worth?
I know it's like, but it's kind of like, yeah, this house is listed. Guess what it's worth? I want to see what you guys think what this house is actually listed for, right? Because then it gives the people a different perspective of what people actually like, how they understand or just completely don't understand the market, right? And it'll be sometimes you'll see houses, and I like Vancouver is notorious for it, where you've got this rundown shack middle of like, and it's listed at like 4 point whatever million dollars, right? And people don't seem to get, it's the land value, which is still ridiculous, right? Or you'll have a house that's it's on acres and it's listed for either a very significant amount or a low amount, and then people don't, they don't understand the various factors that can, contribute to what the house is actually worth, the value of where that number comes from. So it's interesting to see, and a great way to have people just on your Facebook, it could be your profile or your Facebook page, just to interact with it, right? You can do a little prize. Hey, closest guest gets a $25 gift card for Starbucks, right?
And a
Things like
fun
that.
fact, just to expand on that, when I'm learning way too much about Facebook algorithms, but when you have the interaction on Facebook, if you can get people to comment, the more that people are going to see your content. So when you make the next
Mm-hmm.
post, the more people see your content.
Yeah.
So it is really important to be asking questions on your Facebook to get that engagement, and not just like putting shit on there, but you want to
The
create
engagement.
community.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you sometimes notice this probably with your own posts, right? Everyone on here, we post things, and sometimes just a couple people like it, and sometimes a whole bunch of people like it. The more people that are liking it, the more it's going to show up for other friends on your page for them to see it.
Yes.
Right. So, and so that's really kind of what Beverly is touching on. So getting people just to interact, it'll be like, hey, people will do like this if like this post if this applies to you, heart it if this applies to you, different things like that, where it's making people interact with the post itself, which will help boost it up.
And you'll notice, like, if you ever message somebody that you haven't talked to in a long time and you haven't seen their posts, once you start
Mm-hmm.
messaging them in Messenger, you're going to start seeing their posts. It's
Yeah.
very
Or
interesting.
they
So
pop
it's
up.
so
Yeah.
important for us to be in commenting on other people's. Because
Yeah.
when you're commenting on other people's and if they comment back to you, then they're going to start seeing yours.
And
And to your point,
yeah.
Chris, what they do is Facebook says, okay, you have all these people that are always watching your posts and commenting on your posts. But if you get a few more, then Facebook says, oh, we're going to unlock it to that next level of people. And then if
Mm-hmm.
those people start commenting, so what happens, you may not see a post on your Facebook until it's 3 days old. And you're like, how did I miss
Yeah.
this?
I
Well,
know.
Facebook
I've
just
seen that
went
before.
through
Uh,
unlocking all these different levels of people by the time it got to you because Facebook says, wow, this many people comment on it. It must be really important. Everyone on Facebook wants to see this. So yeah,
mm-hmm.
it's a fun, frustrating little game to play with
Yeah.
Facebook.
So basically, it comes down to interact with more of your friends on Facebook. Like, and then those friends will start seeing more of your stuff. Right?
Yeah,
Like
get
their
out
posts,
there and
like
be different.
things, go through there. Like, and I even did this yesterday. I'm like, I wonder if so and so deleted me as a friend. I haven't seen any posts in a long time. And I look, I'm like, well, they're still a friend. And then there has been some posts, like, on there, but I never saw any of them. Right. But then, of course, now that I've checked, anytime that person, because I went onto their profile, now their stuff is starting to pop up again. Right.
Mhm.
So there's different things that you could be doing. It's just interacting. But yeah, again, and to your point, if you're interacting and liking and commenting on people's on stuff, that's just going to again get your post in front of them, and or they're going to check out your pages and your profiles and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. People stalk. So I saw Lily's comment
Mm-hmm.
about having a session, adding a video or a hello video to a new prospect. My question to you, Lily, is are you looking for content or are you looking for the actual how
Like,
to add it? There's two different ways
yeah,
to go with a session there, right?
yeah.
Are you looking for the technology side of being able to add it, or are you looking for the content of actually how to do it and what to do?
Like using the program to create it, and then that would be a whole. That could be an interesting one though in marketing for everyone.
Yeah. Well, it's so powerful because
It is.
that's what I noticed about, I mean, I've been all over like putting videos out the last couple of weeks on Instagram and it's fun because it's watching. I didn't even know this. Instagram has these little contests that if you post a story 7 days in a row, you get a badge. If you get
Okay.
plays on reels you have 30 days to get like so many views on a reel and then you keep
Okay.
earning badges. Well,
Yeah.
if you play the badge game, they
Yeah.
really start unlocking your stuff to more people. Because 'cause I'm like, "Oh my god, like, how's this
Oh,
working?"
really? I guess it's kind of like it's almost like a built-in insta coach to
Well,
get
they want to
you.
see that you're
It's
consistent,
to
and
make
they
it
want to
fun. It's like
see
a
that you're
it's a
playing.
and it's a game though almost, right? Because you've got to do this. So it's like unlock the next level, unlock
Yeah,
the
I'm like,
next
"Oh, I'm all
level.
about that." Like, "Give me a challenge." I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing like, I will pop a reels, like, I don't give a shit about anything. Like, I will pop a reels. If I need 30 more views, I will pop
Yeah,
5 reels just to make sure I get
yeah,
that.
yeah.
The
It's
Insta
all
game.
just,
Yes,
yeah.
it is the Insta game. There is no doubt.
It's but it's creative on their part though too, because it gets more people on and interacting with their platform, right? And then you're as a video creator or business or whatever it is that you're doing it, attention seeker in some cases, right? It's almost fulfilling a void for some to make sure that their efforts aren't going unnoticed, right? Because as you know, like you put a lot of effort into some of this content creation, and it's super frustrating when no one's watching your stuff, right? You're just like, why am I doing this? And I see people do stuff all the time, and I'm like, they don't get very many likes, they don't get very many views, but they keep on doing it. And I was like, man, good on you, good on you for doing that, because I know myself with all the magnitude of things on my plate right now, I'd have been like, yeah, I'll come back. I just don't have time to keep doing this if people aren't either not even engaging necessarily are, more or less just watching, or people aren't seeing the value in what it is that I'm having to offer. So I'm just going to put this on the back burner for now and then focus on something else, right? But
And
reality
learn,
is you got
you
to
said
keep pursuing.
something, you said something very powerful there.
Mm-hmm.
People, how did you say it? People aren't going to find the value in,
Mm-hmm.
they're not even seeing it.
They're not even
Less
seeing
than
it.
6% of people are seeing it because Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, they have the power to be
Mm-hmm.
able to make it happen or not. It's not your
Yes.
content. It's not you. It is the algorithms. And even when you pay to play,
Yes.
they still tell you you have to run it for 4 days for Facebook to understand the algorithm, but it really needs to be 7 days. They
Yeah.
just want to make sure that you're financially committed because there's a lot of big ticket businesses out there that are paying big bucks, not just
Yeah.
$5 a day, not just $10 a day. They're paying a lot of money a day to sponsor their ads,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got to pay to play. And
Yeah.
you've got to be willing to lose the money to get into that algorithm. And
Yeah.
it's so frustrating because I'm like, just because Tony Robbins is Tony Robbins, he don't even use freaking hashtags, right? I am like,
No.
he don't even use hashtags because he's the Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Yeah.
and I do, I think about like people going to Nashville to break into the music scene, right? Like the starving
Mm-hmm.
actors. It's no different.
Yeah.
What's your no matter what?
Yes.
Because that's all that's going to make you keep doing it when people aren't seeing it. You know what? So what? You're creating content. Keep your content organized and you're creating
Mm-hmm.
content. And I promise you, I have so much content for days. Um,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Nothing is in vain. Nothing is for no reason.
No.
You just got to get out of this head.
Don't worry about that. You didn't get like, 1.2 million likes on your post, right?
Matter. It don't
And
matter.
how, you know what? Share other people's stuff too, right?
Follow me.
I always see the Facebook reels and it's other people just doing the split screen watching somebody else's video and they've
It's
got like
crazy.
6,000 likes. I'm like, you didn't even create the content.
It's crazy. Well, and
It's yeah.
it's and I think so much of what's not talked about is you see all the fancy websites and all the fancy landing pages and you see their fancy posts and their
Mm-hmm.
lives and it's just it seems so polished and it seems so great and it seems like they have no fear and oh my God, like I wish I was like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks about before they hit that button.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about the pain that went through on how long it took to build that landing page.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise you, I have tons of insecurities. And I still to this day freak out when I go to pop a video on Instagram. It's gotten a lot easier the last few weeks because I've been a lot more aware of it. And I've just made myself do it because my no matter what has become like really strong.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the whole message, right? It's I want to talk about what nobody else is talking about
Yeah.
because that's the raw. Everybody has those
Mm-hmm.
fears, but what we only see is what we allow ourselves to see, and we think everybody's got it all together. But I promise you, peel back the curtain. Peel back the curtain
Mm-hmm.
because there's nobody out there that doesn't have those fears and continue to have it, even though it looks so polished and so perfect. You don't have to be polished. And that's why I loved like my webinar today. There were so many typos in it. And I'm like, yes, yes, I love the typos because you know what? I took action. I
Yeah.
did not have to sit there and make it absolutely perfect. And I could have
Mm-hmm.
very easily said, you know what? Let's just move the webinars to next week. Let's just do whatever. Like, I'm not going to do it this
Yeah.
week. So much going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just
Yeah.
procrastinating because I'm overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
So no
Yep.
excuses, people. Like you all know the reason why you're not doing what you know you need to do and why you're hiding behind the emails. Go out there and do something different. And I'm going to say I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sorry that you now have a realization that the brain is just doing what it needs to do to keep you alive and keep you safe and keep you protected, but you don't need it.
No.
So the choice is up to you on how big your no matter what is to actually take action and do those things that scare you. Because I promise you this, the beauty is not in the safety. The beauty is in
Mm-hmm.
outside that comfort zone. And
Yes,
what got you to where you
exactly.
are right now is not going to take you next level. Because
Mhm.
every growth, we hit a plateau. And each
Mhm.
plateau is going to have different challenges. And as we're growing, those challenges are going to become bigger and bigger and greater and even a little bit more scary, because then you're dealing with a bigger pool than what you
Yeah.
started with.
Mhm. Mhm. And the same
So,
goes for all of you that are afraid to call your leads. It's the same thing. It is
well,
the
and that's
exact
answers
same
to
thing.
why all of this started, because
Yeah.
we've been doing these videos every
Yeah.
2 weeks
Mhm.
for years. I want to
Yes.
say since 2017,
Somewhere around
maybe,
there. Yeah.
maybe 2016. And
Yeah.
the sad thing is, nothing has changed.
No.
Nothing has changed. The people,
Yes.
there's still some people that are still with us from 2017, but
Mhm.
new people coming in and the people that are still with us, nothing's changed.
No.
And I'm going to call a spade a spade. Why is our guest of honor not here today? What did you email me?
Oh, they have the other guest of honor that were supposed to come back like a couple of weeks ago had all these creative ideas, kind of similar to what we're talking today, because he always, he had a lot of good things that he was doing and we gave him more ideas, but he still hasn't actioned them yet. Right? So he knows they're there. He knows what he could be doing and he's busy, right? Like we all are. But he hasn't actioned it yet. And that's our biggest, I guess, as we look at ourselves, we can look and see the opportunity. It's a matter of what we're going to do to take over and control of that opportunity.
And that was the missing piece of my coaching,
Mhm.
because I was so busy helping people with the tools,
Mhm.
helping people with the strategy. We never got into the depths of what is preventing someone from taking action and working through that process, building that confidence and understanding. Because once I started really understanding the brain and doing a lot of research on trauma and why we carry what we carry, I was like, oh, hello, little reptilian brain. I don't need you no
Mhm.
more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you don't.
We do. We limit ourselves is really what it comes down to. We do. We are our own worst enemies sometimes, and
No
not by
more.
fault.
No more, because now you know.
No, no, I know. You're like, no, go away. I'm gonna do this anyway. Doesn't feel very great, but I'm gonna still do it. Right? I'm scared. It's like jumping off the diving board. We all were there as a kid, and everyone's you got the little one and the big one, and you get to the little one, and then you stand at the top of the big one, and you're just staring there. But now you got all eyes on you. You have to jump, right? You can't. You don't want to be the person that walks back down. And so we end up jumping and realize, hey, that wasn't so bad after all. And then we go back up the ladder and do it again and do it again and do it again. Right. So it's just getting over that first initial fear of whatever is holding you back. And once you do, everything else just kind of gets easier. And then you're going to come across another one. And then you
Well,
do
and
the
what's
same thing
funny,
again.
when I look at my life and I look at what made me get over those fears, that they were literally life-defining moments that I had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I go to that. No matter what, for me, has always been a fear of something else.
Yeah.
It's never just been because I don't like to lose.
No.
Like, I love to win, but I don't like to
Mm-hmm.
lose
Yeah.
more than I like to win, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yep.
For me, it's a fear,
Yeah.
that is mine no matter what. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when you're pushed off you have all these dreams and ideas and visions, but until you're pushed off the cliff and you have no other means, or you have no
Mm-hmm.
other way, that
Yes.
is the way. And then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, well, shit, I should have done this a year ago. It's not that bad.
So it's like the fear of failing is greater than the fear of success.
The fear of
Or
success.
the win of success, I guess. The fear of
Yeah.
failing is greater than the win of success, I guess. I don't know. But no one
No, I
likes to
think
fail, right? So, and we
no one.
can't fail, or we can't fail, right? We can't fail in many cases. Like, what we do, all of us, is more or less survival for, we live in different times, right? So it's what we're doing, and we have to push forward and sometimes take steps that we normally wouldn't have had to take in order just to ensure we have a roof over our head, or our kids are fed, or have clothes on their back, or you can put gas in the car, like whatever it is, right? There's different things that are motivating us a little bit more so because we have to survive.
Yeah. That's a fact.
Yeah. Yep.
And it is, it's finding your no
Yeah.
matter what. It's
Yeah.
finding no matter what.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious, like, what's everybody going to do now? What is everybody going to do with their leads in their dashboard?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do with this interest rate drop? And, you don't want to give them the solution out of the gate. You really want to, there's so much power in stories because people remember.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your story on what it's going to make a difference on that 1/4% to your
Mm-hmm.
seller and to your buyer? And find a personal story within that. Like maybe there was a
Mm-hmm.
time in your home buying or selling journey when there was a shift in the market and it made that big of a difference. I know
Mm-hmm.
I sure have a story. And feel free to use my story. We bought a home when the market was at its absolute height in 2017 with a home that we sold that was in the height.
Mm-hmm.
So we took the money that we made and put it down on the house that we bought. So we put 20% down, right? So yeah, we overpaid for
Mm-hmm.
a house, but we put money
Mm-hmm.
down on it.
Yeah.
That was in 2000 and it was 15. It was actually 15. We sold that house in 2010. Now, if I'm looking at it as making money on it, we paid 425,000 for the house and I sold it for 260. We lost our asses on that house.
Yeah.
But we put the money down on it. So we only owed like 240.
Yeah.
So we
So
broke even.
you broke even when you walked
We
away
broke
from
even.
it.
We
Yeah.
took that mortgage that was like 2,400 a month, which I know that's like peanuts to y'all Canadians, and bought a house with a first-time home buyer that had a mortgage insurance on it.
Mm-hmm.
Our payment dropped $400, but we bought a house that sold for 600,000 for 325.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look on paper, we lost a shit ton of money, went from a 20% conventional loan, having equity, to a first-time home buyer mortgage that had zero equity.
Mm-hmm.
We lowered our mortgage payment.
Yeah.
So what a great story to be able to utilize the market dynamics that we just got lucky with. So it's all in your mind on how you choose to look at it. Now you could have
Mm-hmm.
someone else looking at that and go, oh my God, Bev, you lost so much money. But we went from one house to another and just use the market dynamics
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and create a story with this 1/4% drop. Because talk to your lenders, man. Your lenders are your best friends right now because they're the ones that are going to give you the stories on how much it's going to dramatically change on a payment for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to give you leverage in negotiating your purchases
Mm-hmm.
right
Yeah.
now. So talk to your lenders, get your stories, find your story, and that's your pitch, because people don't forget. And I always get like, let's talk about Christmas, right? It's like even when you go back to Christmas, I don't remember so much what I got as a gift as I remember the moments. So you
Yeah.
remember the memories, not the thing.
There's only a couple gifts I actually remember as a kid. Like, and they stood out for whatever reason, right? But everything else is kind of like, it was more of the time spent with your family or the traditions or what have you
Yes.
that stood out more than anything.
Yes. And the compound effect of the tradition, right? Because usually
Mm-hmm.
as growing up, you have like the same kind of traditions with your family every year.
Mm-hmm.
That compound effect of you may be remembering a whole bunch of years all in the moments.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, find your story and start getting your story out there and take advantage of the market right now.
Mm-hmm.
100%. educate, 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 bring
You
value, bring
even learn, yeah,
value.
like speaking to a mortgage agent and just seeing like, what does this mean for somebody that has, 10% down on whatever, what's their borrowing power now,
Mhm.
right? And how has that shifted? Right. So I did post in the chat for everyone. So we're always looking for our live dial guests. So when we do have a guest, Beverly actually speaks. You're on here as a third kind of panelist, and we're talking about your leads and your situations and roadblocks and things that are preventing you from finding success. Obviously, if you need a little bit of direction as to what to say to leads or how to kind of go through and have those conversations, Beverly does do calls as well. So if you guys do want to
Love
jump
calling
in,
leads. Let me
yeah,
call you.
it's call the leads. Then you can really hear how she opens up the conversations, keeps that conversation going, even when it sounds like somebody is trying to get off the phone, how she's digging out with the information that she needs, or even more or less handling the objections, the various objections that you guys most likely are receiving when you are talking to these people. So we do this twice a month. So, you can book ahead, of course, into the next month. I think we're booked, I think now for June, because we have somebody next session, but we are booking
We
into
always
July
need a
now.
backup.
We always need the backups. Yeah, absolutely. So even if you put
Always
on
need
there and if someone drops off, even if you guys book for July or even August, and I have a space to open up, I'm going to be reaching out to you to see if you want to bump up your session if somebody isn't able to make the current session. So
yes. And
yeah.
Lily, I am Beverly_Ruffner on Instagram and Beverly Ruffner Facebook. I do have 2 different Facebook pages though. Look for the one of me. I'm in a dress like at a beach. And my personal, I've been putting a lot more on that one. Or Beverly Ruffner, Rekindle Your Flame.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, follow me. And as I said, that my webinars, I have 2 more. I have one tomorrow. We're going to be going into more of the depths of overcoming what's holding you back. It's going to be really good. And I have
Good.
books I'm giving away too. But anyway,
Awesome.
off my
Awesome. Perfect. Awesome.
I
Awesome.
will
Well, thanks,
see you.
Beverly.
I'll see you in
And
2
keep up
weeks.
with us. In 2 weeks. Awesome. Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Crystal. Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.